Okay, we're ready? Yes? Yes? Okay.
I'm not that old chick. She was yesterday. I'm with a new shit. I am now today. So call me by my name. Divine.
Hi everybody, my name is Celeste Divine, and today I'm going to talk about my experience working on my sacral chakra. So the sacral chakra is your second chakra. Its energy is water. It houses your sensuality, your creativity, your pleasure, all of the things that you like, all of your creative ventures. I have notes, okay, because I do notes. So first off, when I started working on my sacral chakra, I realized that it has been extremely blocked. So as issues arose, I realized that I needed to take some extra time to work on this particular chakra. So I took 2 weeks instead of 1, and I'm still not done, but this was really just to kind of see where I'm at, so that after this experiment, I can kind of go back into myself and fine tune the areas that are really fucked up. And my sacral chakra is one that is particularly unbalanced. So some things that I did over the last 2 weeks to unclog or open my sacral chakra was that I continued doing yoga, I continued journaling, but I also decided to do some creative ventures. So I started working on this amazing jean jacket that I am beading, because that is using my creative energy to create something beautiful. I also drew. I was drawing. I did a lot of writing. I know some other things in there that I did that were creative, but I can't think of it right now. Oh, that's what I did. I also went to my favorite water place. And so I went there with one of my really, really good friends, and we hiked the trail and got in the water, and it was a very healing, tranquil experience. And yeah, it really helped to like activate my sacral chakra and get me back into a creative space. So I was really, really excited about that, and I've been doing my best to kind of use this spark of creativity to the best of my ability. And so far it's been working well, because I've been doing lots of creative things, and so it's really, really good. Some other things that I did this week, or over the last 2 weeks, was self-care, incorporating self-care. Because of the sacral chakra is a place of where we nurture, how we nurture our creative abilities, or how we nurture other people. It's literally the chakra where we give birth as people with wombs. It's the chakra where we give birth. And for people who don't have wombs, it is still a creative chakra, because it also houses your sexual organs. So I really tapped into caring for myself, which was right on time, because I ended up catching a cold, and I was stuck in bed for at least like 5 days, so I really couldn't do anything. But it did bring up a lot of issues on, you know, how I care for myself and the feelings associated with the way that I care for myself. So I realized that when I have to nurture myself, I feel guilty that I'm not able to give back to other people. So that was important for me to learn, that in order to care for other people and nurture other people and give my love, I have to give those things to myself. I have to take time to heal myself, to care for myself, to nurture myself. And so during the duration of working on my sacral chakra, I really got an opportunity to care for myself. I took lots of baths, because water is very, very healing. Or I also took like really, really long showers. Water. I've been listening to some sacral chakra meditation before I go to sleep. playing the binaural beats that associate with the sacral chakra while I'm sleeping. And I also like to listen to rain sounds or water sounds because it's just very soothing, healing, and tranquil, and it correlates with the sacral chakra. So on top of learning that I needed to care for myself, I was doing a meditation on my sacral chakra, and I realized that in my womb space, I'm carrying so much pain, like physical pain. I was meditating on the area and seeing myself in an orange light, because orange is the color of the sacral chakra, and my womb was like physically in pain. And so that was really a marker to me to understand that I really, really need to heal and release and let go of a lot of trauma that I have stored in that area, which is why I took some extra time to work on my sacral chakra. I think that especially when you've been through a lot of trauma, we store that in our sacral chakra. So going in and allowing yourself to feel the pain and knowing that it is okay to be in pain, but you don't have to stay in pain. So releasing, I worked a lot on letting go of things that are no longer serving me and tapping into what brings me pleasure. How can I experience a nurturing energy within myself, for myself, without expecting the outside world to give that to me. And then I also had to be real with myself and realize that, or just ask myself the question, how can I take accountability for the role that I played in my own suffering? How am I holding on to things that really are causing me like internal pain, and it's weighing me down and it's holding me back and it's stifling my growth? So how can I unleash myself from those chains so that I can be free to be my creative, vibrant self? It sounds easy, but it wasn't easy. Lots of tears, lots of crying, and yeah. I think anytime you are on a healing journey, you can expect to not feel good. It's not going to be fun, but you will feel better after you release and let go. And so that was what this was about, is releasing and let go, because I do want to tap into my creative energy more, and I have a lot of creativity inside of me. And so I knew that I had to, kind of unblock that area so that I can tap into all of me and all of my creativity. Some crystals that I worked with over the last 2 weeks was selenite, but I use selenite every night. I put it under my pillow. It works on every chakra. It's kind of like an ultimate balance and alignment tool for your whole system. So selenite worked really well. Also use moonstone to support my emotional well-being. I wear that around my neck. And I used citrine and sunstone. The mantra that I used over the last 2 weeks was let go and let flow. I think a lot of times when we're trying to do something, we have such a tight grip on it. We feel like if I'm not in control of it, it's not going to work right. And over the last 2 weeks, I learned that sometimes I have to take my hand off of things and allow them to flow the way that they need to. And I guess I just dealt with the emotions that came with that, and it was not comfortable. It's not comfortable to release that type of control, but you do have to let flow. Let the waters of your sacral chakra flow so your creativity can flow. And also, I realized that I am allowed to feel all of my emotions, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's okay. It's okay to feel our feelings. And I think that it's important for us to feel our feelings so that they don't get stored, because that's energy and it has to go somewhere. That emotion has to be moved somewhere. It's literally energy in motion. And so when we don't move it, it gets stored in our body. And it's like fat. That's what's coming to my mind right now. When we don't express our emotions, it gets stored like fat gets stored in our body, which is stuff that we didn't use. And when you don't use it, it has to go somewhere. So your emotions go somewhere and they get stored inside of our energy centers, and they create blockages the same way that fat clogs your arteries and creates, heart disease. So working on your energy body is one of the healthiest things you can do for your entire system. So some questions that I journaled on this week, which I encourage everybody, if you don't journal, write, get a pen and paper and write things down. So the questions that I asked myself this week, or over the last 2 weeks, some questions that I journaled, which I found these online. They are not mine. I did not create them, and I do not remember the author's name, but shout out to whoever they are. Thank you. But some of the questions that I asked myself was, what parts of myself am I afraid of being seen because I fear judgment? And I think that's a really important question, because a lot of times we hold ourselves back from expressing ourselves because we don't want other people to put their mark on it. We don't want other people to have a judgment about what it is that we're doing, especially when we're doing something creative, because it is something literally coming from you. So if people don't like it, we're going to take it personal and feel like because they don't like the thing I created, they don't like me. And that's not true. And there's always going to be somebody who doesn't like something that you create, but there's always going to be people who absolutely love your creativity. And so it is your divine right and mission and goal to create and put it out there for the people who need it. That's what we came here to do, is share our creative gifts with the world. So we don't need to fear being judged. So that was one of the questions that I journaled about. Another question was, how has guilt and shame kept me from expressing my desires? How has guilt and shame kept me from expressing my desires? I'm not going to get into my answer on that one, but it is a great question to ask yourself. What healthy boundaries do I need to create to honor my needs and desires? And for me, setting boundaries is extremely hard. I am a real empath. I feel everything. And so when I do put up a boundary, I can feel people's disdain at the fact that I have set a boundary for myself, and I feel bad. So it's hard for me to set boundaries, but it is extremely important, because you don't want to be a pushover, and you don't want people walking all over you and, stifling your growth and your creativity. So put your boundaries up. When do I feel the most alive and connected to my energy? I like this question because it really helps you to tap into your inner child, because whatever the fun thing that you do that sparks that joy in you or makes you feel creative is really tapping into your childlike self. And for me, I feel most alive when I am listening to music, when I'm dancing, when I'm singing, when I'm writing, when I am thrifting, when I am getting dressed and putting on all of my adornments. That's when I feel the most alive. That's when I feel the most like me. And so find out what that thing is for you, and then do the thing and do it often, because we are here to feel the most alive that we can. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to walk through life feeling like a shell and feeling numb. So that's why we do this energy work. The last question that I asked myself and journaled about over the last 2 weeks was, do I feel guilty when I experience pleasure? And if so, why? I think that, especially in this society, we are conditioned to think that suffering is a natural part of our existence, and we should suffer. So when we are experiencing moments of pleasure and joy and just goodness, there is some guilt associated with it, because we're immediately taught to think, while we're having such an amazing time and enjoying our experience here, there's people suffering, or there's people starving, or there's people who are homeless, or there's people who don't have this and don't have that. And so it takes away from the fact that you're experiencing joy. And so you're always kind of holding yourself back from being fully in the moment. And that's not fair to and it's not fair to the people who are suffering, to be honest, because we need to create balance here. So if they're suffering, I need to feel as good as I can to balance out the energy. Everybody isn't supposed to be suffering here, and the people who are suffering, there is a way to get out of that. And even in the suffering, you can find some type of pleasure and joy. And when you do, bask in it 1000%. Be in that state of joy. Be in that state of pleasure. Allow yourself to feel good feelings and be happy. Period. Working on the sacral chakra. As a woman, as a black woman, can I say that? It's really, really hard because we do have a lot of trauma and a lot of pain stored in this area. So for me personally, I will be taking some extra time to go back in and heal this area, because this is also the place where we store like abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse. This is where our like ancestral trauma is held in our sacral chakra. And so this is it's not an easy chakra to address and to deal with. It's a lot of heavy, hard things that are stuck in this area. And with the lower chakras, your root, your sacral, and your solar plexus, that's where a lot of our trauma is stored, and it affects the entire system. So when we do heal all of these traumatic issues that have happened, it not only heals our sacral chakra, but it's working for the entire system. We're just putting focus on one particular area at a time. I hope this was understood. I know it's kind of rambling, but I have to go back in and do some extra attunement to this area. And yeah, that's it. So meditate, journal, wear the color orange because it resonates with the sacral chakra. Listen to water, be near water, drink water or herbs and tea. What herbs did I use? I drank a lot of juniper tea, and that was really helpful. So drink your tea, it's good for you. I feel like honey should work really well with the sacral chakra too, because it's sweet and it's like an orangey amber color, so it resonates. So I hope that you gathered something from this video and that it will help you to heal your sacral chakra. This is just my experience and the things that came up for me. I know that everybody's experience is going to be different, but the things that don't change is the fact that you need to journal, you need to meditate, and you need to get in the water. So do that so you can tap into your creative energy. And the question to ponder, if nothing else, is what creative thing can I do every day to open my sacral chakra? So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for the next one, and happy healing.